Hi, this is Dr. Leigh Ettinger. Thanks for joining me on this free webinar, where I will share a true story from my practice about how the plant based diet helped a teenage boy lose weight. But first, a medical disclaimer. While I am a gray haired doctor, I am not your gray haired doctor. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Please first discuss any significant dietary changes with your doctor who knows you the best. The title of this talk is King Me. You'll see why later. It's about losing weight and dispelling myths with the plant based diet. This true story is about a 15-year-old male with high blood pressure. His blood pressure was still high, even though he was prescribed a blood pressure lowering drug by another doctor. He came to me for a second opinion about his blood pressure management when I was working at a large children's hospital as a pediatric kidney doctor. At the time, he weighed 274 pounds and had a body mass index of 44.6, which categorized him as having obesity. Of concern was a very strong family history of heart disease. As I got to know this young man, I asked him simply if he would like to learn about the plant based diet. He replied with surprise. Actually, his uncle was suffering from complicated heart disease. Just earlier that week, his uncle's cardiologist had recommended that his uncle stop eating meat. This 15-year-old was starting to make the connections about eating and health. So I taught him all about the benefits of the plant based diet. Briefly, foods for weight loss are plants that just came out of the ground or off of a tree. These foods are also good for blood pressure control since they're very low in sodium. Here is a scientific study that shows the power of the plant based diet. It's called the BROAD study. Included were adults with an average age of 56 years and an average body mass index of 34, which classifies them as with obesity. The control group was given normal care, eat less and exercise more. The intervention group was instructed on how to eat the plant based diet. They were instructed to eat whole grains, legumes, starches, bread, pasta, potatoes, vegetables, and fruit ad lib, meaning they weren't told to restrict any of their portion sizes. They could eat as much as they want until they were full. They were also instructed to avoid animal products and oils, and also told to avoid high fat plant foods such as nuts and avocados and highly processed foods. There were 32 men and women in the control group and 33 men and women in the intervention group. They were followed for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, both groups lost weight. The control group lost 3.5 pounds. The plant based intervention group lost 26 pounds. That's about a pound per week over the 6 months. Back to our young man who is eating a similar diet. Over about a year and a half, he lost a little over 60 pounds. His blood pressure normalized, and we're able to stop his medicine. People worry about lack of iron without meat in the diet, so I rechecked his hemoglobin and it went up. People worry about calcium when dairy is removed from the diet. But look, his calcium went up too. And then people also worry about protein without meat in the diet. Albumin is a measure of someone's protein intake over the previous month. It was rock solid. His cholesterol really wasn't a problem, but went down. And then his hemoglobin A1C, which is a measure of blood sugars over the previous 3 months, was a little bit elevated at 5.6%. After a year and a half of eating the plant based diet, his hemoglobin A1C went down to 5.4%. There was also a change in his personality. His mom said that he was shy. At the follow up visit in June of 2017, his mother reported that he came out of his shell. That was actually the last time I saw him in clinic. He was doing so well, I just said, keep doing what you're doing. About a year later, his mom sent me a lovely email that at his senior prom, this young man was crowned homecoming king. I was really happy for him and all of his successes. The plant based diet can dispel many myths about weight loss. Here, I've shown that it can be effective for weight loss and blood pressure control in a teenager. And it can do so without portion control, without a person feeling hungry. In this country, there is a great fear of carbohydrates. Yet, the plant based diet is very heavy in complex carbohydrates. You get to fill up on rice, potatoes, pastas, and bread. It is possible to eat these starches and still lose weight. I know that exercise is encouraged for weight loss. But during this boy's weight loss journey, he actually exercised less each day. You see, he was a high school lacrosse player. He got up to 274 pounds playing lacrosse for many years, so exercise was not helping him with his weight. Now, imagine him playing lacrosse after losing 30 pounds. It's as if he took off a 30-pound backpack. So, it was easier for him to play lacrosse, walk up steps, and go about all of his daily activities. He was actually exercising less and less and was still able to lose another 30 pounds. So, exercise has many benefits, but for some people, it may not be the solution to their weight concerns. This very busy boy also worked in a seafood restaurant, so he had easy access to very rich foods and desserts, which may have played a role in his weight issue. But here's the beauty of the plant based diet: it creates scarcity. With his decision to eat only plants, he could no longer eat the very high calorie density foods at his workplace. There is no vague goal of moderation or portion control to struggle with. These methods rely on willpower every day to figure out when enough is enough. The plant based diet uses discipline to stick to a decision that was made in the past. Like a person suffering from alcoholism working in a liquor store, this young man with obesity successfully abstained from the high calorie density foods while working in a restaurant. The plant based diet can do so much, but it cannot guarantee a senior prom coronation. Thanks so much for watching. In this time and place, the environment is trying its hardest to cause obesity in children. Contact me to learn how I teach families to be champions battling that trend. As I've shown, the plant based diet can be a weapon in that fight.